Hatshepsut Economic, Hatshepsut, and it's your girl Connie, and welcome, welcome, welcome. If it's your first time to my page, welcome, good afternoon, good morning, good night, and welcome. Thank you for being here. So the name of this video, or whatever I'm doing here, is Stop the Marriage Lie. It is 2018, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know why Mary Claire, and I've been seeing a lot of articles in magazine, not just the Mary Claire one, because I wasn't even going to do a video on that, but it's affecting what Black women think about marriage. And I want to say this. I try to do my channel on a fact-based, approach. Like I said, you guys seen my face. I have other videos with my face. You don't have to, guess what I look like. I do these types of videos with the screen captures to show you the facts. And I try my best to get neutral, fact-based research, meaning that I get it from places that are like the Census Bureau, the Department of Labor, or a Pew Research study. And I'm trying to let Black women know the facts of marriage. What you choose to do with that is up to you. But what's crazy to me is that people are making up lies. They're guessing. This is the first fact. Black women, you're not getting married. You're not getting married to the point where even if there's a negative data, you're not even in that negative data. You're not even involved in the data where there's a high this and high that. The only data that I know that's concrete with Black women in marriage is that when you marry Black men and Black women, they have the highest divorce rate, 3 times more. And the reason why is because those marriages are economically lopsided, meaning that the woman is more prone to be the breadwinner. And economically, I don't know why, but I'm just telling you the facts, those types of marriages don't work out. The reason I'm saying stop the marriage lie is for articles like Mary Claire, but also I got a comment on my YouTube page today. And I guess comments are public. I hope she doesn't get mad at me. But this is from Your Favorite Handmaiding about 4 hours ago. And she's writing to my Black women. I don't know which video that was, but I have so many. But she wrote, "You hit a lot of points, but here's my point. Some people are together but do not get married because they can't afford it." So Your Favorite Handmaiding, thank you for being on my page. I am sincerely gracious, and I love when people give me that feedback. So I just want to let you know that that's not true. Having a wedding and getting married are two different things. I coach people all the time. I actually have a secret group for for when I used to work in David's Bridal that actually can tell women how to get married for under $100. What you're thinking about is a wedding. To get a legal marriage license, you can go to the courthouse. My parents got married 40 years ago in that way. My parents were poor Jamaican immigrants. They could not afford a big lavish wedding. So if your point is to get married, you can afford to get married. So kids are living in a 2-parent household, but parents are not married. This is one of the most volatile relationships. Studies have shown that when you have a child out of wedlock, okay, it's not me. Studies are showing that you have a much higher chance of being in poverty. Now, when you say, living together, the government doesn't recognize it. All the government recognizes is there's a disproportionate amount of single women across all races that are contributing to being in poverty because they are a single mom. When I did the study from the Pew Research, they saw that people that are not married and live together, even when they do, they live separate. They have separate bank accounts, separate checking accounts. They have separate bills. And I've seen this myself. But again, we're talking about facts, because just because I saw something doesn't mean it's fact. But the data shows consistent to my perception that a lot of boyfriend and girlfriends who live together don't mimic a married couple who might have a joint savings account and a joint IRA and a joint, they just don't. You just don't. I even know people who are living together, and when they get married, they bring their bad habits into their marriage, and they still act like they're completely separate. I had a friend who was getting married, and she had no idea what was happening financially with her husband. So that's one of the other setbacks of bringing bad habits into that marriage. But back to the point, if you're not legally married, you are a single mom. You have to, the government doesn't recognize bae or boo or pookie. And I'm not trying to be a bitch, but this is just what I have to stop the marriage lie. And the reason why I'm so passionate is because of the information that I live, swim, and eat. It's not a joke anymore, Black women. By the year 2054, the Black community is set to have zero net worth. I don't know about y'all, but I live in New York. I bought a second condo in Pennsylvania. I'm buying property. My next is an investment property. I'm telling you guys, gentrification is going all over. If we don't own property, we're not going to be able to live. We're going to be floating in outer space. You're going to have Negro satellites floating in space. Like, yo, what up, son? What happened? Nah, man, they took my land. I can't afford no land. I see you. That's what's going to happen. Y'all going to be floating in orbit. Land is a limited commodity. And for a long time, we had a safe haven in the hood because nobody wanted to live with us. So we was good. It wasn't the best neighborhood, but it was our neighborhood. Now there's so much building up. They say, hey, we'll take that land in the bad area, make the rent 10 times higher. And the reason I'm telling you is because it's a tsunami coming. We don't have time for the lies. We have to stop the marriage lie. If you don't want to get married, that's fine. Go to a financial advisor. Go to a life planner. Make sure you get life insurance. Make sure you get medical insurance. Make sure that you know where you're going to go in your elderly age. Make sure you have all that set up. And I mean that. This is not to force you. If you don't want to get married, that's fine. There's nobody putting a gun to your head. But it's my duty as what my channel was made for, the truth, the statistics, the data, because we just don't know it. You got magazines like Mary Claire telling you bullshit. If you can afford to have a child, do you know what it costs to raise a child in New York? $200,000. And that's not counting all the frivolous shit. And a lot of women are talking big because they have social programs. You got Pell Grants for college and subsidized government loans for college. You got food stamps, Section 8, which is gone because Trump got rid of that. You have so many social stuff. And you're saying, yeah, you got subsidized housing, rent control, low, affordable rent. All that is going away, son. They're knocking down the projects and building high rises. That's going away. And we need to make sure as Black women, we're investing and diversifying. Marriage is an economic booster. We have to stop the marriage lies. So a good example was given in the article, Marriage is Not for Black Women. First of all, what a derogatory, ridiculous, that makes me so mad that I almost didn't read the article. What are you trying to say? We're not good enough for marriage, or there's something physically wrong? Even for a Black woman to go to a publication that doesn't even target demographically minority women, that's wrong. Like, the majority of Mary Claire readers are Caucasian. Why would you go out there and air our laundry to an audience that's going to look down on us even more? All right. And it said, the article was being spoken about, but was only evaluated on the clickbait title without proper evaluation. You don't need proper evaluation for that type of racist title. If just because a white person says it and a Black person, racism is racism. And that's a racist title. I don't care if the person's blacker than Wesley Snipes. That's a racist title. So I completely understand Black women who are working hard, who are being positive. We just saw Black Panther have the most beautiful, dark-skinned, Afrocentric, natural type 4C hair, looking amazing, going across that screen. And you still want to say we can't do stuff. We can do anything. We are creating our reality. We are creating our reality. We are positive. And I'm telling you, Black women, stay away from Black women like in Mary Claire. Stay away from any human being telling you can't do something. Because if you would have told me when I was 25 that I would see in my own lifetime Black women with bald heads and dark skins in a movie being called Beautiful, Lupita being beautiful, I would have laughed in your face, because I grew up during the era of Vanessa Williams. I grew up in the era during Veronica Webb. Y'all young, y'all don't get that. I grew up in the era of Tyra Banks, where if you didn't look like a Barbie doll, if you didn't fit into Eurocentric types of beauty, you weren't beautiful. We're in a new era. We're creating our reality. But if you don't believe in your greatness, if you don't believe in your Black girl magic, what can we do? We had Michelle Obama, beautiful Black woman, the first lady of Black women, 8 years, being loved and adored by Obama. You got Serena Williams. that she's dominating, just got happily married. And we got Viola Davis, who is a married black woman, chocolate ebony, gorgeous, winning all them Globes and Grammys and Best Show. And we still don't believe in our greatness. She wasn't supposed to get that far. You got Taraji over the age of 35 going into Hollywood, being in Oscar-nominated movies like Hidden Figures. I need you to believe. If you don't want to do it, fine. But don't let anyone else, Mary Claire, and she's been posting these articles all week. I've been seeing the links all week. Tell Mary Claire to bump that. For all you know, that's probably having a real black woman. So this is why I'm saying I saw the article being spoken on, but it was only evaluated on the clickbait title. Nobody's discussing these people and what can be done to help get these people get married. What are you talking about, handmaiden? My parents came to this country as poor immigrants with no access to social programs, no access to no government programs, because that's how it was back then. My parents are much older. If I'm 38, my parents are older. And they got married, City Hall, Justice of the Peace. I don't understand. It's the culture of marriage that is broken. And when people have a broken culture of marriage, actually get married, that marriage is broken before the vows are even said. It's a culture of marriage. I'm not married, but I'm the product of a 40-year marriage that's still going. And whenever I need advice, I go to my mother and my father. Whenever I give you advice, I'm getting it from my mother and my father because I don't know. They've been doing it for 40 years, 3 kids successful. They're retired, traveling the world. That's who I get my advice from people who are doing things successfully, not bad. So I see a lot of why don't you get married, but no one's talking about the negative economic impact of marriage, which is why you see quite a few black people not getting. It makes no sense what you're saying. There's no negative impact of marriage. If you dissolve a marriage, it costs you nothing unless you had wealth to lose to begin with. What's killing black people is pretending to be married or living like you're married and having children. There is no penalty for that. I mean, you can look here. This is from the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative site, but they pulled their data from the Census Bureau. Child poverty is an ongoing national concern, but few are aware that its principal cause is the absence of married fathers in the home. Marriage remains America's strongest anti-poverty weapon, yet it continues to decline. As husbands disappear from the home, poverty and welfare dependence will increase, and children and parents will suffer as a result. Since marital decline drives up child poverty and welfare dependence, and since the poor aspire to healthy marriage but lack the norms, understanding, and skills to achieve it, it is reasonable for the government to take active steps to strengthen marriage. Just as government discourages youth from dropping out of school, it should provide information that will help put people to form and maintain healthy marriages and delay childbearing until they are married and economically stable. In particular, clarifying the severe shortcoming of child-first, marriage-later philosophy to potential parents in lower-income communities should be a priority. And you can see from here, okay? This is from authors' calculations were based on data from the United States Bureau of the Census, American Community Survey from 2006, 2008. All right. And here's the data from the United States Census Bureau. You guys know I don't play with my receipts. Marriage drops the probability of child poverty by 82%. Okay. I would be irresponsible to run this page and tell you it's okay to do what you want. Again, I'm not putting anything to anyone's head. I'm bringing you the facts. I'm bringing you the receipt. If you don't want to do it, son, chill. Have a glass of Henny. Chill, mop, chill. I don't care. But my job is to bring you the facts. And you know why? There's a lot of people in Mary Claire and the media and the magazines and YouTube. There's a lot of people talking and not showing you guys the receipts. And from day one, what was my promise? The receipts. From day one, what was my promise? The receipts. I will always keep dedicated to bringing you newsworthy information that if you were to go out there and share what I'm showing you here, you won't look foolish. And you can click. I'm going to put these links. You can click. These are the references I use, calculated from the data in the United States Census Bureau of the Census, American Community Survey. Okay? These are all calculated for the Center for Disease Control, National Center for Health Statistics. I don't play when I bring you my facts, sweetie. I don't play because I take it very serious what I'm talking about. If you don't want to get married, Don't get married. But only thing I ask is don't have children. Don't play at marriage. And guess what? Those things don't coexist. Because just because you don't get married doesn't mean you're not going to fall in love. And if you fall in love, you might have sex. And if you have good sex and you're in love, you might have a lot of sex. And if you're in love, you're having good sex, having a lot of sex, you might be living together. And if you're in love, having good sex, a lot of sex, and the sex is good, you might have a baby. And that's where I'm saying we need to get the reality check in. Because we're losing, ladies, and we don't have to. Black girl magic is there. We are amazing. Don't you see your greatness? I never thought I would see gorgeous black women in a blockbuster movie with an all-black cast and no weaves, no hot curling irons, nothing, no nothing. And we're doing amazing. Once you set your goal, but you gotta believe. And if you don't believe you can have what you want, you'll never have it. I was listening to Lupita, and she was saying, people were telling her, you're crazy. You want to go in Hollywood? You? Are you kidding? You got to perm your hair. You got to put a weave in. You might have to get a nose job, get your boobs done. She was saying this, and she didn't believe it. She said it was hard, but she used to cry and look in that mirror and fight through the negativity. And I'm asking you to fight through the negativity. If you want something, don't let anybody attach. I don't care who they are. Don't let anyone attach their negativity to what you really want, and don't ever be ashamed of what you really want. I'm here to tell you that as a black woman who went through so much in my life, people told me I couldn't lose weight. People told me I couldn't start my own business. People told me buying property, you're a woman, you look stupid, you don't got kids, why are you buying a house? I'm telling you right now, you are the creator of your reality. You can't just want something. You have to believe consciously and subconsciously. Study the art of the conscious and subconscious mind. Study the art of that, because I am a student of the law of attraction. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care who it is. Share this video. Share it. If you're trying to accomplish anything in life, own your own business, wealth, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be a billionaire, financial freedom, economic empowerment, I don't care what it is. But if you don't believe in your greatness, if you're doubting yourself, if you got an ounce of negativity, you got to be egocentric with your shit. You got to be hype about your shit. And this is the realest conversation I'm going to have, because these lies have got to stop. I don't want no more of these lies. Difference of opinions? Great. I never said you got to get married. I never put a gun to your head. But it seems when I bring the facts, people are eager to drag you back down. I don't know where this poison is coming from. And it's poison because it's corruptive. Y'all think it's a game. When they buy out all the property, when they raise up all the rent, when there's nothing but luxury high rises, when you realize the corporate world is extremely exclusive and only a few black people are going to make it, even with the degrees, when you look around you and there's no networking, you're going to be like, damn, but it don't have to be that way. There's hope. There's stuff you can do. But if you listen to people like Mary Claire who are lying, I don't know what to tell you. Let's get back to the comment that's here. All right. I see a lot of why don't you get married, but no one's talking about the negative economic impact of marriage, which is why you see quite a few black people not getting married. That is not true. The reason why black people are not getting married is because the culture of marriage is broken. And that's why when even the black man goes to the white woman or the Indian or the Asian woman, and he knows this because I got comments and people said it's true. Black men said it's true. Even when they go outside of the black race, their marriages are the quickest to dissolve. Even when a black man marries a black woman, they're about 3 times higher than other races demographically to get divorced. You see few black people getting married because the culture is not there. It's no negative economic impact. That's a lie. And it makes me upset that these white publications, excuse my language, are pushing this and using black people as a puppet. Show me the statistics that when you get married, you get poorer. It's an oxymoron. You're combining 2 salaries. Show me the statistics that because you get married, you got to pay a tax penalty. There is a marriage penalty when you jointly file taxes. This is a lie. You can lose your affordable care benefits. For your affordable care, you mean your Medicaid? Yes, you don't lose Medicaid, sweetheart. The only way you stop getting Medicaid is when the government says you're out of the bracket, you're out of the poverty bracket, which is a good thing. It means you're not getting a low income anymore. That's what's supposed to happen. You can't want to get government mandated Medicaid and Medicare because you want it if you don't qualify. Please consider evaluating this article and addressing the issues. That's what I'm doing. And this article is complete lies. For example, a non-Black friend I know has a special type of health insurance that involves a group coverage with a special type of payment into insurance. This was a big blessing for her and made it more possible for her to get married. That has nothing to do. I am a specific case with health insurance. Has nothing to do. If you're paying for your health insurance, they don't give a damn who you're married to. Now, if you got Medicaid and Medicare and you're getting government assistance, yeah, the government has a right to say, you're Connie, you're out of the income bracket for a certain range. You got to pay. You got to pay. Like you're talking about health insurance to an endometriosis and PCO patient. That's the wrong person. Because I know all the crazy medications and I have 5 surgeries. I'm still need another surgery for my nerve damage from my endometriosis. It's not funny anymore. So this is what happens when you get married. Okay? If you guys are still with me, God bless you. Thank you. 6-way marriage changes your finances. All right. So I hope this page isn't crushed. All right. So we're going to go down here. Insurance. For a lot of people, this is a big one. When you get married, you have the choice to hop onto your spouse's health insurance policy. For a lot of people, this is huge. Okay? So that is complete bullshit. If you don't have health insurance, getting married can give you health insurance if one of you has it. Employer-backed policies often offer at cheaper prices than policies that you buy yourself. So you save money. Your spouse can actually add you. If both of you work, you can choose policies that offers the best benefits. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand. Because the only way you lose insurance is if one of you economically qualify to not get Medicaid and Medicare. That means one of you are doing good enough to pay for your insurance through your employer. I know this because I deal with this. Okay? So there are ways to save money on policies that aren't offered through your employer as well. Car insurance policies often have better rates for married couple. Why? Easy. Married people are better drivers. One study found that unmarried drivers are twice as likely to get into car accidents as married drivers. Car insurance policies usually have a multi-car discount. Another money saver for couples, putting all of your pets under the same roof for the same time. Pet insurance policies have multi-pet discounts too. So whoever's spewing these complete lies about health insurance, first of all, private health insurance got nothing to do with your marriage status. The only time it does is if you want to add your spouse. If you're talking about affordable care hack, which is government mandated Medicaid or Medicare, yeah. The only time you cannot have it is because you don't qualify. You've been kicked out of that income bracket, which is a good thing. That means you're doing good. All right. Property rights. If you're an unmarried couple that's living together and buying property together, even something minor as a TV or a couch, there are absolutely no state dictated rules about what happens to your property if you split up. If your marriage decides to split, you have a legal right to all co-owned material property. One reason why divorce gets messy. Okay? So if you're living with your man, and I've seen this happen to many women, and y'all break up, a lot of times that woman is out on her ass. She doesn't get marital support because she's not married. She don't get spousal support because she's not married. And it's so hard to chase him down for child support. He can contest the baby was his. He can embarrass you. Hey, it's not my baby. Force you to get a paternity test. All these things happen. And he's not entitled to do anything. Just pay that child support. So I'm trying to understand, okay? It's the concept of marital property also makes it easier to inherit property after a partner has died. I've seen this happen too. Unfortunately, God bless. I hope everybody listening to this video have a long and blessed life. But that's not realistic. Some people listening to this, you might not be around in 10, 20 years, including my black ass. And if you die unexpectedly, that means my houses, my car, my condo, even my businesses that I own. If I don't have a will, they can go to the state. Okay, so it's even if there's no will or just a partial will, the spouse will usually automatically inherit property that was co-owned or owned by their partner. That's the power of marriage. All right? Economic of scales. Speaking of co-owned property, getting married and starting life together ends up boosting your financial state overall. Not only do you have the opportunity for double income, but you also save money by having one living room, one kitchen, one bedroom that needs to be furnished. Your bills are also consolidated. One electric bill, one gas bill, one phone bill. You get the same benefits if you're moving together without getting married, but without the legal safety net of marriage. So this is what I'm trying to say. You get 111. You save money. So even if you're living together, you still could save money, but there's no legality of it. The guy can walk out on you and leave you with all the bills. If you're married and you're doing stuff together, it's not that easy for him to walk out. And if you do, he can end up owing you a lot. Marriage is powerful. Okay? Look, while there's no hard data on how much people will save over time by getting married instead of staying single, some outlets have attempted to quantify overall savings. Lisa Arnold and Christina Campbell at The Atlantic believe that a single woman would end up paying anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million more than her married counterpart in areas like housing, health insurance, IRAs, and taxes. Survivor benefits. Social Security will pay out a variety of survivor benefits to both spouses and children of the deceased. Unmarried partners receive no benefits. This is what kills me about the Black community. I'm going to say this once. You got gay people, homosexual people fighting for marriage. Why do you think they're fighting for marriage? Because they want the economic booster. They want the economic perks, not just love and Ain't nobody stopping them. We can't stop them. I don't want to stop them, but you can't stop them. But they know that marriage, gay people know that marriage is an economic booster. That's why the gay movement is so powerful, because we're having a lot of traction with the gay movement. It actually is moving faster than some aspects of black civil rights movement right now. Gay Pride Month is bigger than Black History Month, if Black History Month is big at all. But the reason why is because of unity, and economics matters. You think they don't know all this? Man, please. Taxes. Once you're married, you get two choices when filing for taxes. Married, filing jointly, MFJ, and married, filing separately, MFS. These are pros and cons to both, all of which need to be weighed when you're preparing your taxes. While most couples will save money on taxes by filing jointly, that's not always the case. Okay? The biggest drawback to MFS is something called the marriage penalty. When you file jointly, your incomes are combined. This can have two effects. The first occurs when one partner is in a higher income bracket than the other. Because two incomes are averaged together, the partner with the higher income will be brought down into a lower income bracket, while the partner with the lower income will be pulled into the higher income bracket. While it might sound like it evens out, you want to do the calculations to see if you save money by filing separately. So I'm going to pause right there. That's only a problem if you're making economically higher and you still get a surplus back. You get 20% back. The second drawback occurs when both partners are in the same income bracket. Because of the way the taxable tables are written, a married couple filing jointly can actually be pushed up in an income bracket, paying hundreds or $1,000 more if they would have filed separately. So the only way, it's not even an issue. You're paying your taxes. Okay? So let's just say you make $100,000 and your man make $100,000. The only way that it's smarter is if you get to a certain bracket, $200,000 together. But again, you can save money if you know how to do your tax write-offs. That's not something that would stop a Black couple from getting married. The average Black couple is not worried about breaking the $250,000 mark, which is the most mark for taxes when they start taxing you more. I'm a little bit confused. Getting married can greatly increase your chances of a loan. Okay? Why? If you're applying together, you can count both of your incomes towards the loan. Plus, if one of you have below average credit, your partner's good credit can help you make up the difference. If you both have good credit, good. Now you have awesome credit. Okay? Okay? So I'm not going to read the whole thing here, But there's more here. There's the economic divorce impact. You can just read all of these articles. I'm going to link, and it's just this is an article, Scholar Strategy Network. It talks about why marriages decline against Black Americans and the economic effects of it and what it's doing. And it's just sad because what I was saying is fact based. The lack of economics in the Black community is contributing to the lack of marriage. The lack of it. Now, if your husband's making a good salary and your wife is making a good salary, or your boyfriend and girlfriend, it doesn't make sense. No one's forcing you to have a big, giant luxury wedding. All right? And this is understanding the marriage penalty and the marriage bonus. This is from the Tax Foundation of the United States. Okay? So I want to go through this because this is something. Okay? A marriage penalty or bonus is a change in couples' total tax bill as a result in getting married and thus filing their taxes jointly. Marriage bonuses typically occur when two individuals with disparate incomes get married. Marriage penalties occur when two individuals with equal incomes marry. This is true for both high and low income couples. Marriage's bonus can be as high as 20% of the couple's total income, and marriage penalties can be as high as 12% of the marriage couple income. While research shows that marriage penalties and bonuses do not have much effect on whether a couple will marry, they do much affect how each spouse's work. It is possible to completely eliminate both marriage penalties and bonuses, but it would require a significant overhaul of the tax code. All right? So basically, unless you are very, very wealthy, you have to worry about a 12% tax increase. I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical. If you really believe that Black men aren't marrying Black women because of a 12% prospective tax marriage penalty, which is not a real penalty, it just happens when both of you combine your incomes and now you've been pushed into a higher tax bracket, welcome to adulthood. If you really believe that's why men aren't getting married and they can't afford marriage, you're just digging yourself. You're just digging yourself into a grave. And so marriage bonuses typically occurs when two individuals with disparate incomes marry. When an individual with a higher income marries and files jointly with an individual with a much smaller income, the additional income is not usually enough to push the couple's combined income into a higher tax bracket. However, due to the much wider income tax bracket for married individuals, a lot of the incomes fall into a lower tax bracket, resulting in the result is a lower tax bill. All right. So suppose an unmarried couple earn a total of $75,000, but the distribution was unequal: $50,000 from the first partner and $25,000 from the second. As an unmarried couple, their combined tax bill is $13,200. When the couple gets married, combining income, the taxable income remains the same. Okay. However, the tax bracket for married couples widen. That means that less of the couple's income tax is taxed at 25%. And as if they were not married. As a result, their tax bill will fall. So if you're married, your tax bill will fall. Hope that was clear. This means that less of the couple's income is taxed at the 25% marginal tax rate than it was when they were not married. So $12,975, $13,200. So you have a slight saving there. Okay? And you can take a look at the incomes. You could take a look at what happens. So the marriage penalty typically occurs when two individuals with equal income marry. There are marriage penalties for both high income and low income couples who fit the description. For high income individuals, the marriage penalty exists because the income tax bracket for married couples at the top of the income tax schedule are not twice as wide as the equivalent brackets for single individuals. For example, 33% tax bracket for singles start at $189,000. So if you guys not making $189,300, you're lying. Of taxable income, but starts at $230,000 of taxable income for married couples filing jointly. Okay, so if you're single, your tax bracket starts here, $189,033%. But to married, $230,000. Adding two high incomes together could easily push a married couple into a higher tax bracket, result in the penalty. So this is why I tell you, Black women, to stop letting people lie to you. Because basically, they're trying to say, if you should be concerned because two of you together are making over $230,000. And it's not even a concern. You're just paying your taxes. You got to pay taxes. You can't get around that. But there's many ways you can do tax write-offs if you're running a company. High income taxpayers can face large marriage penalties. But when you have kids, when you do nonprofit, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Okay? The marriage penalty or bonus penalty for a couple with no children. That's why having children can actually help. You see? The marriage penalty or bonus for a couple with one child. So having children actually can help you. 2 children. Okay? So it's just hard for me to see Black women, and no offense, who are not even economically in the higher income bracket to worry about that. It's really pathetic. That's not keeping the one from getting married. The fact is, we don't want to face the facts. We don't want to face the facts. What married taxpayers lose by filing jointly. Married couples who file jointly must complete one shared tax return and jointly take responsibility for the income reported and taxes owed. Filing separately may be beneficial if you need to separate your tax liability from your spouse's, or if one spouse has a significant itemized deduction. Filing separately can disqualify or limit your use of potentially valuable tax breaks, but you should consider both ways to see which way you will save more in taxes. So again, there's always ways to balance it out. There is no marriage penalty that you pay just because you're being married. Let me say it again. There is no marriage penalty. There's no marriage like, oh, you got married, son, you got to pay. It depends on a lot of metrics, and most of those really consider if you're in a very high income bracket. That's all. And that's why I'm saying we need to get it together. We need to get it together. I want to see Black people be successful. Now, if you would say, I don't want to get married, that's fine. But I need to continue to tell you the social and economic barriers to marriage. In part, it says right here, the men are just not there in the Black communities. Mortality rates are high for Black men, and Black men are also often in prison. In 2010, 4,343 out of every 100,000 Black men were in prison, a rate that's 6 times higher than the imprisonment for white men. Even more important, the characteristics and life situations of many Black men fall well short of women's preferences. In 2010, the Pew Research Center asked respondents to rate the importance of various factors when choosing a mate, and found that Black women have high aspirations. Asked how important that a good husband or partner provide a good income, 2/3 of Black women said it's very important, compared to 32% of white women. Roughly 55% of Black women said it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated, compared to only 28% of white women. Half of Black women said it was financial stability should be important and precondition for marriage, but only a quarter of white women felt that way. And the reason why Black women are overemphasizing, this is sidebar, the reason why you see Black women overemphasizing the importance of marriage is because they are wary, they are aware of the challenges in the Black community. White women have lower expectations because to them it's like, yeah, we're going to get it anyway. They don't really have to say as much as we do. Okay? So look right here. Men with such ideal characteristics are especially hard to find in low-income minority communities. A highly acclaimed study by sociologists Catherine Inden and Maria Kefeles found that low-income Black and Latina mothers value marriage highly, but see many financial barriers because potential partners often have very low incomes or unemployed. So I'm going to stop right there. That is the truth. That is the truth. No more lies. Stop the marriage lie. You don't have an abundance of Black men and Black women who want to get married, but they're worried about a tax penalty. You don't have an abundance of Black women and Black men who want to get married, but they're worried about health insurance. Stop the marriage lie. It's stopping on my page today because I'm not doing all this work for nothing. Remember, I've never been divorced. I've never been married. I don't have kids. I'm 38. I'm very economically well off. I'm very happy with my life in many aspects, but my life is not perfect. But I did this channel to educate Black women so they can make better choices, so they can know what the facts are and they can do whatever they want. But when you come on my page and you fabricate stories about there's a portion of Black women that need to know how to get, bitch, take your ass to the freaking justice of the peace. This is getting ridiculous. If you can have a baby, you can get married. Children cost a ridiculous amount of money in New York City. And right here it says, to boost marriage, help Black men. And that's why I did that killing yourself softly. That was my tough love for Black men. Because a lot of Black men think, wow, kids, marriage, scary, woo. So they set their life with no intention of having a wife, having a child, not realizing those are the main economic drivers for every other demographic. So if you're pursuing life and your expectation is, I'm not going to take care of a house, I'm not going to take care of a wife, I'm not going to be the head of no damn household, right? Right? Then what you think going to happen? You're not going to be aggressive. You're not going to be trying to get yourself to that economic standard. If you don't believe me, go watch the videos called Killing Themselves Softly. Farrakhan, I assume, is pro-Black. He is Muslim, Nation of Islam. I'm very sure he is pro-Black. And he's saying the same thing like I said. It's the aspirations. It's like me knowing I got to go to a wedding in 6 months. If I know I got to go to a wedding, I'm going to be working out. I'm going to be getting that ass in shape. I'm going to take myself. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we have to stop the lies. We have to stop. Those who want to boost marriage rates among Blacks should focus on improving job opportunities and education for Black men. In 2010, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 18.4% of Black men were jobless compared to 9.6% of white men. Black men also earn lower wages than similar white men. Racial disparities persist even at the highest levels of education. Even after holding education constant, Black men still are more likely to be unemployed or economically deprived, causing them to fall short of what Black women are looking for in partners. Finally, contrary to patterns found among other race ethnic groups, Black women have higher educational attainment than Black men. Yet this adds to their struggle to find the kinds of men they hope to marry. So this is why I push entrepreneurship for Black women. This is why I talk about opening your options. The issues with Black men, that's not what my channel's about. I'm not going to get into that, but I did touch upon that in Killing Me Softly because I had a nice Black gentleman who told me, hey, you know all these receipts, you know all this data. He wanted the answers, and there's your answer. It's a cultural thing. And if you're waiting for racism to stop, it's not going to stop. Some people will say to me, well, Connie, it's racism and discrimination. You think Black women don't have racism? Black women have the highest out of all the demographics. We have the highest rates of discrimination. That's why we're so aggressive with education. That's why we're so aggressive with entrepreneurship, because we know if you want to change, I don't care who you are, if you want to change, you got to take accountability for what you can control. If you're waiting for some type of utopia, if you're waiting for a period in life where there's no racism, no discrimination, no sexism, no bad boss, no harassment, if you're waiting for all this, you're going to be waiting a long time. That's why I diversified myself. That's why I made sure I'm doing several businesses. Never again will life catch me off guard. And anyone who hears this message, I'm telling this to you. You could sit down, Indian style, fold your legs, and you could complain as long as the Bible is. You can complain for hundreds of pages. Nothing will change. The way you empower yourself is taking responsibility for what you can change. And I know it sucks. I'm not denying discrimination, racism, sexism, sexual harassment, hostile work environment. In fact, that's what I do for a living. That's what I do for a living. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you can't wait for a perfect storm. You can't wait for a perfect... We're always going to have issues. Civil rights and segregation and separate but equal. And now in the year 2018, even if you have a master's, there's always going to be a storm. You got to know how to navigate through. I had my own personal experiences. I have an Ivy League degree from Cornell. And I was like, yay, utopia. And guess what? No, I was still facing even more animosity from people who looked at me and said, who gave this black chick a degree? Like, who gave her the right to earn an Ivy League degree? It don't help me at all. So that's what I'm saying. Know the facts, know what's happening, and make sure you read your sources. Because things are getting so serious